couple of agenda items to deal with first. So I will call to order at 7:02 p.m. This is the Wednesday, September 13th, 2017 Finance Committee meeting. On the agenda tonight, I do actually need to ask for an amendment to the agenda, but we're going to talk about the special tax agreement with American Superconductor. Mr. Pomperian is going to give us an overview of some of the budgets that he oversees, and I'm going to give a quick update of parking management. So I do need to ask for an amendment to the agenda to add vote on the MMA, Mass Municipal Association invoice. If we can do that, just add that to new business just after the parking management.
And then we do so?
Seconded. Is that right? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we have an amendment to the agenda to the invoice after. Do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I submit such a motion. Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so first order of business we have on our agenda is discussion regarding the special tax agreement. We have our economic developer and our town administrator here to discuss. If you gentlemen would love to join us at the table, be happy to have you. So I forwarded on the documents that are on the town website, and I have a printout at least of the financial ones.
I have them
Okay, excellent. Do
all. Do you need one?
No?
Oh, I saw that. Good.
Old news. Don't need it. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know that this was approved to move to town meeting at the Board of Selectmen's meeting just after Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
The date is escaping me for that one. So actually, I know both of you have some excellent information to kind of put out there for the public and also help us make a possible decision on a recommendation. So I'll turn the meeting over to you, gentlemen.
All right.
Whatever you would like.
Mr. Chairman, gentlemen of the Finance Committee, thank you for having us. Good to see you after the summer. Hope you had a great summer. Mr. Chairman, I'll just give a brief overview very quickly, and then I'll ask Alan to get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay.
But as the committee is aware, an opportunity presented itself to the town for the American Superconductor company on Devons is looking to relocate here at the town of Ayer, specifically at the former Canes facility down on East Main Street. The company approached me in midsummer about this opportunity that they wanted to come to Ayer. I then went to the Board of Selectmen at one of their meetings over the summer to get authorization from the Board of Selectmen to at least meet with them and to, when I say negotiate, as the committee is aware, ultimately in terms of special tax agreements procedurally, the Board of Selectmen role would be to call a special town meeting and to put forth a proposed agreement to town meeting. All special tax agreements in Massachusetts have to be approved by town meeting. So rather than, so that process began. Myself, Alan from Economic Development, and Tom Hogan, our chief assessor, were the negotiating team with American Superconductor. After 3 months of meeting with them, what you have in front of you is really what the proposal, and I want to stress, Mr. Chairman, the proposal that both parties at least agreed to, and that the Board of Selectmen, the agreement in this proposal, were willing to put forth for consideration by town meeting. We had hoped on our end, and I share the concern that you have, Mr. Chairman, as well as many who've called me about the quick timeline on this. If we had our way on the town's end, we would have put this for the October fall town meeting. What everybody needs to understand, the special tax agreement, in addition to being approved by town meeting, also has to be approved by the Mass Office of Business Development, Office MOBD, and their committee only meets quarterly. And their next meeting is the end of September, and if we did not bring this forward for town meeting consideration, that next meeting wouldn't be till after the first of the year. And as you can see from the agreement, in terms of the proposed agreement, in terms of the move, they are looking to be here by March 31st of 2018. So that's what drove the. I'm not a big fan of short horizons, and just I'll use this plug too. Tomorrow night, we're trying to promote at 6 in here. We're going to do a public information forum. Representatives from American Superconductor will be here to answer questions for the public, the good, the bad, the ugly, as they say, but also an opportunity for the public to see what American Superconductor is about. Finally, again, it's been the position, my position, as well as the departments involved, that this is ultimately the decision of the voters of Ayer in front of town meeting. And we have maintained that with American Superconductor, that we can't make any promises. I mean, we've come to a proposed agreement. It's up whether the town meeting approves that or not is, as you know, Mr. Chairman, and as the committee, anything's possible at town meeting.
Yes, it is.
Finally, before I turn it over to Alan, in essence, and he'll get into more of the points, it is a 15-year agreement, of which 10 years has deferred assessment, which we can get into on the taxes. The estimated impact from the assessor's office is approximately $30 on the residential side for year one, and then it goes down each year over the 10 years. The commercial impact, which we'll get into, we have as well. And for the purposes of tomorrow night and town meeting, we will have this all visually mapped out on the cost impacts. So with that, I'll let Alan speak more to obviously the substance to it. And I'd be happy to answer any procedural questions. Lastly, I just want to point out that the proposed agreement was also reviewed by our town council and has been reviewed by the MOBD to be correct to form in that sense.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Robert.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And through you, Mr. Chairman, to the members. And for the record, Alan Minoyan, Director of Community and Economic Development. So as Robert said, and as I said actually last week at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, in the world of municipal economic development, everyone likes to talk about and said, oh, we landed a big company and we did this, really heroic stuff. And there were two ways, obviously, this happens. It sometimes happens when you go out, very aggressively. You do an aggressive attraction campaign and platform to attract in. You select, frankly, certain industry sectors that we know we need to bring into complement here, or that would be advantageous for future growth of our town. And we work it that way. And then every now and then, and this is one of those, and I've been, in this business for 28 years myself, and I've had interesting deals happen. This is one of those where I would love to say and take all the glory and say, we did this and we attracted this. This one happened where they, approached us. Of course, though, we all knew in the town the Canes plant. And the Canes, by the way, that was our very first modern industrial building built in this town of 1970. And Canes really became almost a cultural institution, a part of the fabric of this town. So we all knew that unfortunately Treehouse Foods bought them out about a year ago, and there the plant sits. We have very little industrial and light industrial zone parcels left. They're really precious in this town. We only have 9.8 square miles is our entire land area. And we have a couple right now of light industrial sites that are, being looked at for, to vary and to go into retail and other types of things. In this site, we were very, very concerned to make sure we preserve it so that it's a place that's going to be a great job creator and generator. And frankly, we had hoped, and our intent was, we are now in 2017. Commonwealth of Massachusetts is known for our 21st century knowledge-based, innovation-based, technological-based industries and sector. This is what we are strongest at in the world. Ayer has not really been a part in a big way of that. We have a lot of very traditional, conventional, frankly, food and beverage processing plants. And we also have plants, frankly, that are here to handle material. And it's sort of the type of industries, frankly, our concern is a lot of what we have here is the stuff that's going to be automated over the next few years. And we're concerned about that. So we have to start attracting advanced technology, innovation, knowledge-based 21st century companies. Also, an interesting just macro, we'll get into this, the substance of this. Ayer right now has a population of a little better than 7,500. Of that population, the working, those that are employed in this town, somewhere between 16 and now I guess work up to 90 now. Well, I hope to someday. Probably will. God. That total population here in Ayer is about 3,800 of that 7,000. The people live here and they work. They are employed. Each and every morning, of those 3,800 folk that are employed in Ayer, 3,400 of them, almost a total, get in their cars and they drive out of this town for their employment and livelihood. Our own people live in this town. And where are they going? They're heading east and southeast. We know this because we have the benefit of using what is known as longitudinal household and employment demographics through the U.S. Department of Labor and some programs we have. Meaning the folks that reside here in Ayer have high levels of education, they have higher incomes, and they're going to work in Boston, Metro Boston, so they're going that way. That very same morning, every day in Ayer, almost that exact same number, 3,800 people drive that live elsewhere, not in Ayer, drive into this town to work. It's fascinating. The town has two different populations, day and night. It's two different, intent populate two different sets of, and who are those folks that are coming into Ayer each and every day to work here? They are coming, first of all, exclusively from the west and from the north, meaning they're coming from the Merrimack Valley, Lowell, Lawrence, and they're coming from Fitchburg, Leominster, etc. What are they doing? They're coming into Ayer, and they are tending to work in a really crushing number, which is actually fascinating. 36% of the folks that are employed in Ayer during the day work in manufacturing. That is off the scale in Massachusetts. Very few places even come close to that, meaning that what we have here in Ayer during the day is a laboring class with not the highest education skill levels, and they're working, frankly, and this is, whether it's Nasoya, Catania, but it's more physical, labor-based type stuff. We need to bring balance to this in Ayer. This is why, by the way, if you go into downtown Ayer during the daytime, you'll see very few people on the sidewalks of this downtown. We don't have a daytime professional working class in this town for the most part, not enough. And this is frankly adversely impacting opportunities for retail in downtown. That's why we have very few retail shops in downtown Ayer, if you notice. So we have to start doing a macroeconomics. So that's why when American Superconductor approaches that we are prospectively interested in coming here, folks, it's not just this, it's as important sort of ramification, and we think it's going to set. We need someone to start this off, and if we can get a company like American Superconductor here settled in, then we can start drawing in other companies, say we're starting to build a new community, and they will be actually helpful in that because they have a lot of companies that they work with, and it's a co-location thing. The other interesting part of this, just for what it's worth, is this is all supposed to, I'll never say. This is has tended to work the opposite way the last 20 years. Companies from, whether it's Fitchburg, Leominster, or towns, are leaving us and they're locating onto Devens. So Devens has all these advantages it's very hard for us in these towns to compete with. Here is somebody that's breaking that mold and paradigm fascinatingly. They're going off Devens and we want to be in Ayer. This is good. This is very good on a lot of levels. Okay. So we decided to see if we could come to terms, strike a deal. What we were most concerned with here in the town is permanence. And they, made clear to us up front, we are interested in and an incentive of some type coming here. And Robert and I immediately said, this is fine to discuss this, and fine, but don't even start this conversation unless you're serious about permanence here and there. Because the thing we do not want to happen is we provide an incentive, they come in and do it, and when that incentive expires, they say, off you go. Thank you. We're,
So,
all right?
And that's the trend a lot of companies end up doing.
Thank you.
I think that's also what they've been doing on Devon's. They got some great incentives years ago to move
Yes.
in.
It's a
Yes.
20-year lease, and those are all coming up.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
And as we're saying to these folks, so you've been on Devon's, and as much as Devon's is, developing over 20 years and trying to become, if you will, a living community, it's not yet. It's still, frankly, a commercial and technology business park. We let these folks know, if you want to come to here and do this, understand you're coming here to be a part of our community
Can I ask?
and everything that means. Yes, please.
The 114 East LLC,
Yes,
that is the acquirer of the
Correct.
Kane's property.
that is correct.
Um,
So there are two entities here.
I appreciate that,
Yes.
but they are subordinated in that the AMSC is in context subordinated to the 114 East, because without 114 East acquiring the property,
Right, it's
AMSC is
integrated.
not interested in coming. So they are intermixed.
They are
But they
interlinked.
are, in my curiosity is,
Yes.
are they connected?
No, there's no connection
Okay,
beyond,
so-
right, that this gentleman acquired the
114
property.
East is a privately owned, separate real estate development entity that was
For that property,
created
correct.
just for this
Correct.
activity?
Is it just for the activity, or is it the current owners of the park?
It's the owner of the property,
so it's the
which is
current owner.
absolutely
Okay.
standard and commonplace,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. So
Yeah.
the 114 East Street LLC is the current owner of the property.
Yes, they now own this property. It
Okay,
has
so
been
their-
closed.
Their investment is preceding this activity.
It's all actually,
The initial investment is preceding this activity.
no, it happened simultaneously, and it was an agreement, and well, wait, let me finish before, okay. The gentleman, the 114 LLC that went and said, I'm thinking about acquiring this property, it was done all in constant sequence with knowing these folks actually were all interacting with each other before, we came and started interacting with them. They had come to terms, and again, that's between those parties, but just in terms of sequence and timing, they had already met and had already started from like, I will acquire this building, if you folks are serious about coming in. The gentleman that acquired the property got it for a very good price, therefore he's able to offer it
I
to.
heard that song as I drove by.
So, all right. So this is why this gentleman approached American Supercut, and obviously these all knew each other, they knew that they were going to make a move. So he said, I know you make, if I can get this property tied up, let's start doing this together. So actually, Mr. Diamond, it all happened integratedly together, all
Okay,
right?
so
Yes.
the current owner of the property
Yes,
is a recent owner, not a long-term.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
And their motivation for acquiring the property was AMSC agreeing to lease it from them for, I think, 32 years is what it says here.
That and the fact that the gentleman involved with 114 sees Ayer as a high-value place, and he's investing, he's looking for more.
That's fine.
And it's, of course, it's all the above.
There's nothing like a speculator speculating.
Right, and this wasn't pure, and thank you, and this was not speculative, this was right, this was all done, which again speaks to the point that they were really doing this in a very stable way and not sort of just grabbing at whatever. I'll do this, though, let me, as you say, as you read then into the points, okay, of this negotiation, some of the items here, you'll see, of course, number one, they're going to be investing, at least $2.5 million in that property, and that needs to be done. By the
Can I ask one question about the $2.5 million investment?
Please, why don't we go point by point, and we can circle back if that's okay?
Sure,
Just so we
that's
can,
fine.
we can kind of move
Thank
along
you.
with the conversation, please.
No problem.
All right, so that's very important because frankly, this is a 1970, if you will, mayonnaise plant.
Okay.
And now it's going to be,
And it was good mayonnaise.
It's the only mayonnaise I've ever eaten my whole life.
Not highly, but it was good.
You can-
Okay,
Actually, no, we need 4, sorry.
And then you see now American Superconductor, here's we get into the permanence in terms of, contractual agreements. Shall conduct its business operations for a minimum of 15 years. And this was right up front. We said, this is the permanence that we're looking for. And they said, very good, because we are not planning on leaving this site for a generation or more. Very good. Number 3, AMC relocates its business operations from the property. If AMC relocates from the Ayer site, or if the agreement's decertified, etc. Beginning the last day of year 11. So, right up front, we said to them, if you even have in your mind, for some reason, that you're going to maybe take that course that other corporates have done, which we do not appreciate in the least, here we have that effect. They do that at the end of year 11. They are then subject to paying back 50%, half of this. So this is where right up front we're saying, do we understand each other? And yes, I said, all right. And then you see, of course, the next item, we go to the end of year 12, and in fact, if they choose to pull that, now it's 25% you're paying back.
Why only 50%?
50 is actually quite robust compared to other conventions. It's pretty aggressive. And that's the position we decide to take up front with them and let them know very clearly we're not fooling around. Okay, and then of course number 5, we want to make sure they keep. They're talking about 82 employees there right now, and it's very important to say we don't want you coming into this place, this site, and starting to downsize this company. Only come here if you're planning on growing here. Stabilize what you have and grow. So they said yes, we're going to of course make every effort to keep those 82, and we're planning on growing.
How many of those 82 live in here?
That actually reside in here?
Yeah.
Yes. Very few. The number is very slight. But what we get, and by the way, this all factored into why. Now they, of course, they were being courted by the state of Connecticut. They were being courted by New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, my good friends up in Nashua and other places. It's very important for them, as we know with these types of innovation firms, their most important resource is their talented professionals that are there. They can't be replaced, and if they are, it can really wreak havoc on the company. Most of the folks that are employed in this company live in the towns surrounding it. They live in Greater Ayer, Dunstable, Groton, etc.
The CEO lives
The
on
CEO,
Devon's.
by the way, thank you, lives on Devon's, the CEO of this company in the new neighborhoods. The CFO lives in Dunstable.
Pardon?
He's going to move to Ayer, right?
Yes, I believe he's in the territorial part of Devon's that's Ayer.
Yeah.
But
Not that that's
All right.
part of
But to
the-
that question, it's
Yeah.
82. We were unable to ascertain the exact number, but
Just
from what
curious.
we understand, it's a good question. I would say the Neshoba Valley.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah.
this is again why they realized we really need to say, because we cannot lose this incredible talented base of this company. And these people all live here. Their children go to the schools in these towns.
Yeah.
And this is permanence. By the way, this makes us feel good again that we're dealing with a company talking about permanence because of their people. East Main shall make every reasonable effort, and we were very adamant about this. Whatever companies, contractors, and this even goes down to landscaping companies, whatever. You're going to make every effort that you will hire and put our local contractors, companies, etc. here and there. And they said absolutely, because we want that multiplier effect and that positive economic impact to our other companies in town and businesses. Same thing with our eateries when they do catering. They bring in a lot of clients from around the world there and host them and do big luncheons and stuff. And we said we want you to use local eateries, so we want this wealth and the benefit to hit all of our businesses in our community. Very important. And then again, something we're very proud of that Robert and I really, stress with them.
Chinese.
Both Alan's office, Mr. Chairman, and the Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce are providing, they've requested the lists of all of these.
Yes,
Good.
yes,
So,
that's
go ahead.
right.
Excellent.
Now, this next one is very, very exceedingly important because we are all about the rising generation, and that's the other reason we want this company here. He said, if you're going to come here, here's what we want you to do. You're going to set up an apprenticeship, an innovation technology apprenticeship program, not only with the Ayer Shirley Regional High School, but with Neshoba Valley Technical School. We want this company to play a role in training our next generation of our future entrepreneurs.
On the apprenticeship, how many, is that just a single position, or
Oh,
would
no,
it be
no.
like a group of?
Oh, it would be so,
students?
they're talking about a
Several,
group.
okay.
And they were pleased to hear this, because what this is going to do is, this is their succession planning, so they can start grooming and training young people that are going to come and work it. Again, speaks to permanence.
Yeah.
Part of our community, the fabric of our community, and I hope to God, our hope is a number of the young students, young boys, young girls, these are going to be our future innovators and entrepreneurs, and they're going to come and they're going to start their companies here in Ayer and build them here in Ayer. And because what they're going to realize is, well, geez, I guess, I don't just have to maybe make a plant process or something. Of course there are world-class innovation firms in Ayer. Why couldn't I start my world-class innovation firm here in Ayer? That's what that's all about.
These classes or training processes going to be something that the public has an opportunity to review and understand? Or are they just going to be between your office and them? And
No, it's going to be the school administration. No, all this has to be opened up, and we hope to work with the chamber with, absolutely. And they feel, they're very happy with that. So again, it speaks to, we're all on the same page with what we're trying to do here with this. Again, just if they do choose to vacate and they take that and take their hit and all that, they give at least, 3 months advance notice. That's all just good importance. And then this next one, number 10, is important, which gets back to 114 Main LLC. Now, the owner of the property, as we said, if something happens here, we don't want the building demolished. And by the way, this was up front. We, as I was talking with the developer many months ago, he was really looking at it. I got this, but I might, as he said in his own terms, scrape the site. Meaning, I'm going to demolish this whole thing, just clear it out, maybe I'll put, we'll get another fast food or whatever like this. And these are not the jobs our people need. So we said here in that item, not to demolish the building and structures in a private period of 15 years. And we'll do this unless you construct a new technology, industrial, manufacturing building of equal or larger size. Don't think you're going to demolish this building, come in here and build another, a fast food or something like this. And they agreed to that.
So I would read that to say that the ANSC people have looked at the building and agreed that it has whatever requirements they have
Yes,
to last for 15 years in the future
yes,
without a need to reconstruct.
that's right.
Or
if
Well,
they
could
do,
always add on,
if they
correct,
do,
if they
they can
do
add
that
on,
much.
yeah,
Only
they
for
can modify
industrial
it,
technology,
not
right.
start from
That's right.
scratch.
Right, we don't want to see retail or anything else built. This is very important in the future of our town. So that was, we thought, very good, beneficial. And then again, if you do demolish the building and structure, probably beginning of year 16, here we hit back on this again, you're going to pay us back 25%. So we even have them, going out further.
That's good.
Like that. East Main Street, demolish in direct partnership to tenant the property with the technology. Again, if these folks do choose to leave, let's say they do in 5 years, say, you know what, we decided, and we'll pay the 50%, we'll take the hit, we're going the property owner's still tied in, saying that if that happens, and you re-tenant this building, it has to be with, again, a technology innovation firm, industrial manufacturer. So we're just keeping this to the permanence of what this is. Then number 13, and we want annual reports every year. Okay? Number of residents, and there it gets to your point, Mr. Diamond. Number 2, that we want to know the number of residents of the town and each other cities employed by the prop. So we do want that. They're going to start reporting on all that.
So did the chairman's
Who would be
question?
the one overseeing the annual reports and making sure that they're ticking all the boxes that are required?
It's an excellent question, Mr. Chairman. That's why they have to also be approved by the state. So there is and we can get the committee the specifics. There's a statutory timeline and requirement through MOBD that, in this case, the town of Ayer is provided with these reports by a certain deadline, and by statute, the reports have to contain all of the financials and so forth. It's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't see anything in here that says, should AMSC decide to acquire 114 East Street LLC, that these conditions continue? Has that contingency been discussed?
I think that's good.
Good question.
Yes.
I've been at this a long time.
Well, I haven't worked in real estate accounting in years, so I'm a little
That's very
rusty.
good, Mr. I like, yes, very good. So we might address that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we-
All right.
So I have two questions. Now, Pat wanted to go back to the $2.5 million investment. I would
Yeah.
actually like the same thing. What kind of investments have they talked about doing? Is it, because right now the building's hidden behind the trees. Is it just going to be on the building itself? Is it going to be something that's going to, kind of beautify or make access a little bit easier with the Rotary?
Mr. Chairman, there's two things to that. One is obviously there are some improvements that they'll be making, if you will, to the facility. Also, though, which was interest of the town, and it was actually the first item that was brought up from their CEO, was very concerned about their role with the Rotary and the gateway, if you will, to their facility. And Mr. Minoyan and Superintendent Wetzel and the building commissioner, Mr. Schultz, took them on a tour out there, and AMSC working with us, and as the committee can understand, the Rotary is actually legally Mass DOT property, and we're getting them out here. Very interested in, obviously, their curbside appeal. We've talked about this. I mean, that's one of the things Alan runs up against all the time when we compete with. Devon's has that great curbside appeal, if you
It's
will.
very important for
And it's
firm
nothing
lands.
against Ayer. It's all cities and towns. That's a disadvantage, but is making improvements to the Rotary. What we mean, not just the traffic improvements, but the Rotary is landscape improvements on East Main Street for the entrance to the property. They were also very interested. There's a residential house, if you will, right there, that land.
In the middle, sort of.
So there've been quite a few. By the end of this month, the delay has been with Mass DOT on the state side, but they are interested as well, is to have the three parties, the town, Mass DOT, and AMSC, figure out this Rotary in the gateway, because they do have plans to make
They do, by the way, they are going to clear out the tree line. They want to make it a beautiful campus there around that building.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of people don't realize there's a beautiful water feature, a pond right there that signs us. So they're really going to go out. And this, we think, is going to affect the entire Rotary, frankly.
And
What
unfortunately,
about the train issue on Sandy Pond Road? That could be a real impediment to traffic, not only with the Rotary, but to entering and exiting the Kane, the AMSC
You mean
facility.
the at-grade crossing of the railroad
Yeah.
you're referring to?
That tends to be a tremendous bottleneck. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I was coming back from Shaw's,
Yep.
and there was a train. I don't want to say parked, but it was parked.
It was parked.
Yeah, it was parked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
I
can
ended
tell
up
you
having
why.
to go into town, over the bridge, back through the Rotary, and to get home. And by the time, and I live in Pingree, by the time I did that, the train was still sitting there.
Yes.
How,
Well, I'll say this, a major part of why they want to be at the site, they're going to be using that active rail line. They make really large.
okay, so they're going to use their spur.
Yes, they are. And this, again, is why this is so advantageous that they did not have it then. So they
Okay,
actually.
so that means there'll maybe be more rail traffic.
No, it'll be, well, I mean, sure,
If
they'll
they're
have
going
their
to use the
designated.
spur, they're going to have more
Yeah, but
cars
Yeah.
pulled in there.
those are
and-
small run
Okay, that's
cars
fine.
and, yeah,
That's
assemblies,
just
but,
a
but,
question, my friend.
good point. And that's a bigger, actually, project we're working on, because what you're seeing with these trains going in and out and stopping is because the entire rail yard is completely failed. It's just like an intersect
yeah,
failed,
I know.
and they're trying to we're working on that project with them too, so
Very
you gotta stop this
Okay.
again, so,
That's fair.
yeah.
At least we have a bridge to go over it, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Thanks.
right.
I just want to point that out. One other follow-up question before I forget it. In your beginning, you had mentioned about this kind of being a seed for other technology companies. What other properties would you see, or like what other growth potential do you see within town to actually expand on technology companies?
You mean, particular sites and locations, or
If you have any, or like even those general areas of town, where you
Yes.
think, because I know, like you said, we're geographically small and we're almost built out. So the question is, where would that really come into play?
It is, and we have very few sites, but I mean, one of those is if you go off the road down Harvard Road, what's known as the old Maxent Industries property. They're that large industrial, the great one sits in a great
Yeah.
piece, and so this is something we need to focus on there. We need to continue working on our Westford Road industrial park sites to see what can be redeveloped there. And then frankly, this is why we're constrained. There's potential on Fitchburg Road, but we need to eventually run a sewer line up Fitchburg Road. We're not going to attract the companies, these type of firms and companies. And I'll say the same, frankly, with West Main Street corridor heading out towards Devon's. These are the places, but as Robert so said, it's our we have much work to do in just terms of the state and condition of these things. These companies aren't going to look. I think the Rotary, actually, with them going in here, I think things are going to start popping and changing around that Rotary a little bit.
Especially you said they want to beautify it, and
Yeah.
as Robert puts it, that is the gateway to Ayer. So if,
Yes.
if you make that's the first thing you're coming off the Rotary and looking at, wow, it's not all these weeds, this is a great place. It's a place maybe where I want to settle down, I want to work, I want to start my business, and that's what you want.
There it is. Well, then this is it, and then of course the other location is up at the Neshoba Valley Medical Center. This is a place where we can start growing. And what we need to do is to start working to grow a medical innovation village or district up there, because there's great, frankly, potential there. But it's tough. We don't have. It was definitely with proper sites like this. But that's all right. We try to be good at what we do, and we're not going to stop. Doing what we do. So there you are. Number 14 is just saying, if they fail to meet these obligations and sections through this, then we can decertify this whole thing, the state, both, and us locally. So they know that, these are, the consequences if you don't. Getting up to, part 2 here on page 4 are the town obligations part of it. And this is simply stating that, as long as they comply with everything, the town will grant, the STA, again, if approved by town meeting. And the STA exemption shall commence at the beginning of July 1. And it's really, this is our obligation, is providing this incentive. It's really, we're not putting other nice things on the table. Just the fact that they're coming to a great community, and they're going to do very well here. And then, of course, additional provisions, which I'll leave that to you folks just to look at that, sort of boilerplate stuff. So all in all, we feel that, we got this in a pretty good position. And I'll just end with this. When it was a Canes plant for all those years, the average there were 100 people that worked there at that Canes plant, pretty much traditionally towards the end. And here we're going to have a company going with 82. So it's pretty much the same. The number of people will be working the place. The difference is the average salaries that you folks working at the Canes plant that day were most of it was probably $15 an hour, something like this. And you were either, working in the kettles, or you were moving, and this is stuff. Here, with American Superconductor, the average, or the mean annual salary for the 82 people working here is $108,000 a year. That's just the average, the mean of the 82.
Okay.
What this means is, and I hope, and my job now is, all those new people working during the day, they're not leaving to work in summer, they're here all day. I have to work very hard at letting them know, God, folks, come downtown for lunch. Get out and look at some of our shops. Spend this great high levels of disposable income you have here in town, but that's our job to present it and to make it something that so we hope through multiplier effect and impact that these higher salaries, they're going to be here all day. And frankly, these are the folks, when you work in more labor-based type jobs, you can't break away and go for lunch and do stuff. These folks are professional, they will have our lunches, and they'll say, sure, go out. They will be here and start spending. We have to start filling the sidewalks of this downtown during the daytime, or else, we're going to struggle on. By the way, that's why if you notice, downtown Ayer is hopping and rocking at night.
Right.
You can't find a parking space at night.
I
Why?
went to the parking forum.
Because all our Ayer people have come home, and they have a higher income, and they're out doing it. During the day,
Yeah.
why? Because there's the people you need to do it aren't here. So you see, this is the start of a macro.
Okay.
Okay.
One question, and it's the $1 million question. So as a taxpayer of the town of Ayer, I'm asked to pay about $30 in the first year. So overall, over 10 years, it's going to be anywhere between $100 and $120 for the total. Because I have the assessor's estimates, and I'm trying to get back to them myself. I come up with a little different number, but I'm also factoring that the tax rate will go up.
You're very
Each year.
close, Mr. Chairman, with that.
As we go through. Yeah, thank you. I'm close, but I can't get. Tom and I were going back and forth, and I couldn't get to his numbers. But I have faith in his numbers. I want to stress that. What am I getting for my $31 or $100 over the 10 years? Because that's the big question that is going to be asked tomorrow night,
Certainly.
and also at town meeting.
Yeah. What you're getting is a town that is launching into the 21st century economy, which is critically important for the town to be able to successfully attract additional companies here so we can stabilize the residential tax rate. We have a lot of companies here, and we find out folks don't realize this. We've dodged a lot of bullets with some big companies potentially leaving here. And they've gone out and looked at other cities. The only reason they didn't was because of the cost of moving and such. But there's a lot of this time out there, so we got to get to work and start building the next generation of companies here so we can stabilize that residential tax rate and start attracting more innovation firms here. I don't know if there are going to be many pickle and relish and mayonnaise factories built in the future, Masters, but we sure as heck have a lot of technology and innovation firms, and that's what's going to stabilize and sustain our economy. Also, the economic impact of, again, just these type of professionals, a daytime professional class here, that spillover effect. And I would like to think that if we make the most of the apprenticeship program, we can start nurturing and cultivating our future leaders of our future companies. So all this, frankly, it's an investment in the future. And I would hope to think, if you're right, as a taxpayer, and he said, my God, I'm going to pay $120 over 10 years for this. I would hope they'd say, you know what? It's worth it to get a world-class innovation firm, publicly traded firm. We're making an investment. I hope folks will say it was a wise and thoughtful investment, just like any of us do. We take a risk when you invest in, so you hope you're going to get a return on that investment. And I think in this case, the probability is good and the odds I hope are good, and it's worth saying, all right, I'll part with my $120 over 10 years.
So AMSC is publicly traded?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it
On
is.
what exchange?
It's
They're on the
New York.
actually, I'm not. Wait, they might. I'm sorry. They may be on
I think
NASDAQ.
they're on, I think they're on the NASDAQ.
Yeah,
I would think
they
they're
are.
on
They are. They're an
NASDAQ.
innovation firm. Yes, yes.
Yeah, NASDAQ, AMSC is their symbol.
Okay, good, I'll check it.
$3.84 a share today.
What was their price when they went out?
Pardon?
What was their price when they went out?
When we started meeting with them?
No,
or-
when they
When they
went
started.
Oh,
on their.
Well, like everyone else, they were higher. I mean,
IPO
a lot of the tech stocks have come down over the years.
And
They've gone up. If you look at Amazon, it was $2.60, and now it's over 1,000. So it's interesting.
yeah.
no, it is. And I'll say this. And they've been very open with us. Now, this company now has been up in Devon's for a little better than a decade. The company, and by the way, I don't know if you're all familiar, if you've ever seen their current building up there, it's 370,000 square feet. I say that again, it's 370,000 square foot building. It's one of the largest I've ever seen. Why did they have such a massive building when they came in here? The nature of their technology. They were doing wire, this really advanced sort of wiring to conduct, and
That's what superconductors are.
Yeah.
no better than I. So the building itself, its physical, was there for the physical need for this type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, over time, their technology, their whole market is changing. And they gave us a very good tour of the site, and they were very open, saying, our profit center, our profit line of products, all that is being made within the physical of that 370,000 within 25% of the building. In other words, all their profits now are coming. They're only using 25% of the building. They got to get this building is what has been, because they're. It is. So this is why are they coming here? Why are they leaving this prestigious? I mean, because they want this company to survive and grow, and they're
That's
new
what
tech.
I wanted to know.
And this is it.
That's fine.
And again, this is why we say you're in this. We're all in this together. Then it's in our interest. This company is successful, and that's why we're going to be very close with their reports and really monitor the whole thing. And we all got to work together to make it successful for them.
So you're going to be cherry picking other Devon's opportunities?
I'll never stop trying.
That's good.
No, I don't do that. By the way, we have a very good protocol with our partners at Devon's, and we do that, so we share this. And they've been very good as well with all this. And that's what I like about this. Often you say you're tracking a company from somewhere. The fact is, as the crow flies, it's basically maybe 2 miles.
It's not
So
far.
they're here. We're all here together. And I kind of like, there's something about a good vibe about this that, it's good and healthy for Devon to know that we're still here too, we're still good with you, so let's both do good together here, guys, you know?
Any other questions?
No, I'm fine.
My other question is just about the agreement itself. So the town meeting warrant article is just to authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into approve with a special tax agreement with American AMSC and 114 East Main Street. The question is the agreement itself amendable with town meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
checked with town council today, and it is not by town
It
meeting.
is not,
It
okay.
cannot be, so the article will be moved by the board and seconded.
Yeah.
Then we'll open up for discussion. There'll be formal presentations,
Okay.
of course, from this committee as well, whatever you'd like to do. And I asked town council that, and the article cannot be amended.
Yes or no?
It's
Voted
yes.
in or voted out?
Yeah,
It's an up-down vote.
yeah, but it's
All
an
right.
excellent question.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
No, that's fine.
So, I like the agreement. I think the agreement has some good safety nets for the town. My biggest concern, I'll be honest, is kind of the year one cost. When you kind of look at everything else that we've done in the past, that's on par with the town hall restoration, the new police station, the fire station, I think it was 27, the police station was like 23. And yeah, I had to dig deep through my files to find those things, just out of curiosity. That's my only hesitation. I mean, Alan did a fantastic job providing information and doing a great sell job. But I think for me, and that's really what I'm hung on, because I really think that when I joined the finance committee, I thought that our town was at a great crossroads, and we were kind of coming out from under the shell of Devon's, and we had decisions to make of where we were going, and that's why I joined the finance committee, because I wanted to be able to drive that. I think that we have a great town, we have a great community, and we have some good businesses, and I think I actually came in kind of with like, no, it's corporate welfare, et cetera, but I think you make a good point that it is a good investment. So I'm still on the fence, so I'll ask you, gentlemen, what your thoughts are.
Well, is it actually cost, or is it potential revenue loss?
It's 2 points, two parts. Part of it is the cost, because we're asking the taxpayers to, on the average house, to pay $30 more. The businesses we're asking to pay more than that because of the split tax rate. The other part of that is I don't know. It's hard not to get something tangible, from the company. I mean, we get the some improvements to the Rotary, but to actually have just something tangible as a donation to the town, whether it's a field or I don't know, some money towards a school program or the sports programs or whatever. That's kind of where I'm hung up.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. You guys?
So what you're looking for in context is some form of a goodwill contribution to the town in exchange for the benefit they get of the
It would be
agreement.
nice, because I think that solidifies an
I think
investment
that's
in
fair.
the community.
I think that's fair. Absolutely fair.
So the other thing I will stress, because I know that town meeting is a week from Monday, we do have the opportunity or the option or opportunity to meet just before town meeting. If you guys want to digest everything, and we can take a recommendation vote there, it would hinder our ability to really make a good formal presentation at town meeting itself. But it's a lot of information. It's a lot to think about in a very short period of time.
So let me ask you a question. If there was a strong desire to ask that there would be some kind of a goodwill contribution to the company or to the town for general purpose or whatever, maybe something specific, but just let's say in context, that's outside of the agreement, which it would be, which you said couldn't be renegotiated.
It can't be amended on the floor. It's, in other words, town meeting.
Okay, the town
So
meeting
there
can't
is still
modify
the
it.
opportunity.
I got you.
for them to
What do you
something.
think the willingness of AMSC would be, or 114 East or collectively to contribute something reasonable token to the town, for the town to benefit.
Good. I'll give you my take on that. I would approach 114 East Main Street LLC for that. I think he has the means of wherewithal. Why not? To maybe do that. So that's that part. And if it is American Superconductor, I would just say, if we did, tell them we want them to take that type of action, I would say to them, though, don't require them to do that the first year. They're just bearing so much cost in the move.
And that's fully
And say,
understandable.
don't hit up front and say, guys, so as you get settled in, maybe that's year 2 or 3 when you're stabilized, settled.
And that's
and
fully
then I think that's
We're
something
not
we might be able to
asking
make
for it
happen.
to be tomorrow.
Right.
We're just asking
Just,
for
yeah.
a willingness and to maybe negotiate an
Yeah.
agreement,
I
right?
think they will.
To
Yeah.
contribute something to the town.
Through the chair, Mr. Diamond and Mr. Hood, having spent considerable time with them, I believe that both entities would be amenable to doing that.
Once they get
And
settled
so
in.
I think our challenge is let's figure out what that
that means.
is and what we want.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think
would
that's-
support 100% that idea.
Yeah.
Might be good to
And-
open it up to the community.
And frankly, I anticipate some individuals at town meeting, and they'll be there as well, to probably ask that. Because you're absolutely right, Mr. Hood, that people are going to ask, what's in it for me? And that's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that they would be amenable.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I know, and the town I work in, when a developer comes in and does something in a neighborhood or something like that, they're required to do something with the sidewalks in that area or something like that to refurbish the sidewalks. I certainly know the sidewalks on that section of Main Street. I walk them almost daily, stink. So that could be an idea. Maybe that's something for the future of our town to look into. I know, like I said, down where I work, that's one of the things. If you're going to come in and put a development in, then yeah, it's a trade-off to the town. What are we getting out of it? And that's their big thing. You do a sidewalk, you do something like that in that area. So maybe that could be something to work on, because like I said, I do walk down that section of East Main Street almost on a daily basis, and the sidewalks down there need to be renovated. That might be a good thing, and I probably would think Mr. Wenzel would agree with that, and that would benefit the entire town. And you're opening up this gateway, as we say down there, then let's extend that gateway. Let's extend something that, you say you want the people from America Semiconductor to get out and come downtown. Well, let's make that pathway
Make it
a little
pleasant
bit-
for
a
them,
little
and
bit
that's
more
wonderful,
pleasant
and
for
that's
them
right.
to come
Right,
down
that's right.
every day.
Yeah.
Just a thought on my side.
Taking the concept further into maybe more of an implementation context, how would you see this being positioned and presented at town meeting, Robert?
This
The
concept.
concept, yeah, of some contribution to the town from this industrial entity. Because I would think that would be something we'd have to present at that time, right?
Yeah, so let me ask the question different. Let me or can I ask
Sure,
this up
please do.
in a different way? So, if the finance committee says, hey, we do agree with this, as long as if by say like year 3 or 4, they make an investment in the community, etc. The town meeting warrant article, the way that it's written, does that give the Board of Selectmen the leeway to actually amend this
Yes.
to include wording? So any feedback that they get from town meeting can actually be implemented into the final agreement. It's not, this is what the agreement is and that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, just to be very clear, that's an excellent point. Town meeting's role in this, that article, if it passes, authorizes the Board of Selectmen to negotiate the agreement. Now, how it's done in Massachusetts, you always have to have something to put forward, otherwise it would just be a free-for-all. So legally, if town meeting does not pass the article, then there's no special tax agreement. If town meeting authorizes it, what we've put forth so that people understand, this is the agreement, but legally, and I think we can, and we'll make this point to them even before then, authorizing the negotiation, the Board of Selectmen can amend and add that. That's why I think it's important in the discussion at town meeting that this be brought up, and we hold them to that.
Okay.
And I think it's doable, and I think their comeback is going to be just as Alan said, like say a year 3 type of thing. So let's do it.
Okay.
Get them in the door and,
Yeah.
Well, I personally would, as a member of this committee and as a taxpayer, would like to thank both of you for all of your work that you put into this. I think it's very well written, a good deal. Thank you very much. And like you said, thank you for trying to bring us into the next phase, which we need to be in. I think you both should be commended for a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I just want to add through the chair, Tom Hogan, our assessor, was key. My assistant Carly in my office, and both Superintendent Wetzel and Commissioner Schultz, the building commissioner, a lot of time was spent on the issue of the Rotary in the building before we even got to this. So,
Well, it's great.
But thank you.
Like I said, for somebody that walks by there almost on a daily basis and you look in there, it's like, you're looking into, Schwartz's next door. It's like, it's nothing going on over here. It's going to be nice to see something hopefully going on down there. And, I personally don't have a problem with $120 over a 10-year period. That's nothing for the payment I think that we're going to get back just for us, our children that go to the regional or to Neshoba Valley Tech. That could be, bringing them into that business, and could be potential employees for them, or potential, this is what I want to do, start up my business, like you said. I think it's a win-win.
Okay. And you will find those who can attend tomorrow at 6 is the information session. We're also going to have it filmed and broadcast.
Okay.
You'll find that the folks from American Superconductor are very reasonable and very professional, and they will be at the town meeting as well to answer any questions. And I'm going to respectfully ask the moderator to ask town meeting for consideration to just give them a brief. They have a very brief, about 10-minute presentation as to who American Superconductor is, so people can understand. But thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Okay. Do we want to make a recommendation? Yes or no?
I would move that we accept this as presented, and that we also ensure that there is the addition of some contribution to the town in some manner, and I don't think we're in a position to define that, but that at minimal that be added.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so accept the STA as presented.
Yes.
With an insurance that there is a contribution to
Yes.
the town
Yes.
at some
At
point.
some point.
At some
in time.
point. Yes.
I think it should be some point within
Within
a 5 year.
Okay.
Within
That's
a
right.
5 years.
It's a time to be determined within
Yeah.
a period.
No longer than a 5-year
Yes,
period.
Okay.
I accept that.
All right, so you accept the...
Yes.
So the motion...
I'll second it.
Hold on. All right, so the motion is to accept the special tax agreement as presented with an insurance of a contribution to the town within a 5-year period. And I have Pat as the first and Chris as the second.
And I would say that the contribution value would be negotiated at the time at which, the period at which it's done,
Okay.
because that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I think you've done
Thank
a
you.
wonderful job.
Great job. Thanks.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Let me take a quick vote though. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
3-0, unanimous. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for
Thank
all
you,
the
Judge.
information, all
Thank you
your
so
work
much.
on this, and joining us this evening.
Thank you.
6 tomorrow night, you said?
6 o'clock tomorrow in this room is the
Okay.
information,
Okay.
and town meeting is on the 25th of September here at
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Okay.
And we are also still having the regular fall town meeting on October 23rd.
Because we had nothing else to do. Thank you.
Exactly.
In the first week of October, you and I are going to actually get some sleep.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
So Robert, it is getting late. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
wanna
okay.
skip what
If you want to skip, or I can stay. It's up to you. I can keep it real short.
We have another meeting on the 23rd, right?
Yeah, I always hate asking Robert to come back more than he has to, though.
But he likes coming.
I'll give you a quick snapshot.
All right, perfect. That would be great. Thank you.
Reader's Digest
Alan,
version.
thank you
Yes,
again.
Reader's Digest, because I know. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, in the interest of time, and Pat, you're correct, anytime that the committee would like me to come, or any department head, just let me know, and we will be here. So, Obviously, as the committee knows, the budget is an ongoing cycle, the budget process, and we're about to commence with the FY19 budget process. And my office, Lisa Gabri, the town accountant, we're always available to assist. The chairman has been very involved. I know he's your representative on the buy board. I know that you're going to be joining us, Pat, from the FinCom on capital, which will get started this fall. So in the interest of time, the budget it's a process, obviously. So we'll work through it together. I have informed the departments. I had a department head meeting actually this morning where we have some new folks at the FinCom through the chair that the departments are prepared at the request of the committee also to come to give just a brief Reader's Digest version of their departmental budgets and to further inform, and I think it'll be good for the public too, as to, in a nutshell, what they do, what their challenges and their needs are. So that is standing. You'll obviously will meet with, I say, the big three. All departments are important, but the DPW, police, fire. In terms of just briefly the overview of the some of the budget things that are perennial issues. One is the town council budget, which is overseen by my office. Our town council is KP Law, it's Kopelman and Page. They changed the name KP Law. The town has used them for many years out of Boston. The benefit of Kopelman and Page, KP Law, their rates are very competitive, but with a firm in Boston, they have lawyers that specialize in all of the expertise. For example, this STAA we just talked about. They have attorneys that specialize in that. They have attorneys that specialize in labor and so forth. So that the town council budget for FY18 was $120,000 was budgeted for that. And so town council, as you gentlemen can appreciate, a municipality with a $26 million budget, 9.5 square miles and 7,500 people, legal services are part of doing business. As Mr. Hood knows, we do the best based on prior years to do our best to estimate what the town council budget's going to be for the next year. Now, as you gentlemen can appreciate, a municipality, like any government, things happen that we have no control of. We do get sued. We have an excellent track record, but legal disputes come up, unforeseen matters come up, and we have to obviously address those. So in the past, last year was the exception. In the past, I usually end up coming back, unfortunately, looking for reserve fund transfers because there have been, and we try to prevent that as much as possible, but if unforeseen things happen, they have to be addressed. Lawsuits, etc. Historically, we've been increasing the town council budget annually somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Historically, there was a large case in the past. The town council budget, there were years that it ran $200,000 and higher when there was some significant matters. It has since, the trend overall has been to come down, but it does go up some. Whenever I come to request a reserve fund transfer, I will provide with you a breakdown of what has driven those costs. On rare occasion, as the chair knows, some of these matters are protected under Mass General Law. It may be necessary for the committee to go into executive session, or sometimes we have had joint meetings with the Board of Selectmen depending on the matter. So the town council budget is set at $120,000. As you should be aware, it's public record. The town took through eminent domain some land in the building for the commuter rail project. The landowner is suing the town, and that is public knowledge. And there is an example, depending how that plays out. Again, will determine the impact to the town council budget. So, unlike many of our budgets where we can really fix the amount, and we do a pretty good job on this, the takeaway on the town council budget is there are variables beyond. I wish if I could predict the future, I'd be a very wealthy man, I guess. But there are situations that have driven that have driven the budget into the need for a reserve fund transfer. And as you know, per your policy, it's unforeseen or unusual occurrences is what the policy says. Unfortunately, both terms have applied to this in the past. So we will keep you apprised of that. Secondly, which goes along with that, one of our biggest costs drivers on the budget is health insurance. Ayer is not unique, as you gentlemen all know. The cost of health benefits is not a fixed cost, and we refer to it as a budget buster, though our budget is never busted, but for some folks. We belong to the Minuteman Neshoba Health Group currently, which is a regional consortium that we do our health insurance on. Benefited employees pay 25% of the health insurance. The town pays 75% of that. The health insurance budget with Minuteman Neshoba Health Group has in recent years unfortunately had double-digit increases, anywhere from 10% to 19% increases. Again, Ms. Gabri and I, as well as Mr. Johnson and Kevin Johnson, our benefits manager, the Minuteman Neshoba Health Group meets monthly. We try to, again, project as best as we can on that. We've done a pretty good job on that, not needing reserve fund transfers, but the unpleasant part, as the chairman knows, is when we get into the budget, these double-digit numbers can really drive it. The last thing I will say on the health insurance budget, as you gentlemen can appreciate, we have 5 collective bargaining units. Changes to health insurance to collective bargaining employees are subject to negotiation. So unfortunately, we can't just change it. Additionally, by statute, we have what's called the Insurance Advisory Committee. It's comprised of representatives from each of the unions as well as a retiree. It's driven by the unions. They're supposed to meet annually to review issues of health insurance. They have not met in the last year. The last time we met was to try to find another alternative, and this is the challenge we have on health insurance. We have basically still 3 options. 4. One is we could be self-insured, which I would never recommend because we cannot afford it, and communities, the few that remain, have gotten into huge trouble. The second is you could join the GIC. We resisted that when it came, and thankfully we did, in my opinion, because the GIC, as Governor Patrick presented it, was going to solve all of our problems. The GIC has been a disaster. That's my opinion. Some may disagree.
I'm
Okay.
on an insurance advisory board, so I
So you know, Chris. Third is MIA, the Massachusetts Interlocal Association. MIA is one option. However, they have not been as competitive, believe it or not, even with these double-digit increases, as Minuteman Neshoba Health Group. Our friends across the river in Shirley are in MIA, and the regional school district is in MIA. MIA is not bad, but there's not much difference between that and Minuteman Neshoba. And then the fourth option, which we spent over a year looking at, was to try to find another alternative. The problem, as you gentlemen can appreciate, in the marketplace, municipalities are very unique, so there's not like Blue Cross Blue Shield, let's say, direct as opposed to through a program. The costs just weren't there. So I anticipate, unfortunately, we're planning for double-digit increase again, and also the unions, the plans, the benefits of the plans continue to change, unfortunately, in the wrong direction. So there's a lot of grumbling, rightfully so, and concerns from people that have it, but our hands are somewhat tied. So I anticipate, and we will keep you informed, the IAC meetings, when they do meet, are obviously open meetings and so forth. So that's health insurance. And the other insurance line items for the town, we're in pretty good shape as far as, again, we budget to the best of our ability based on past trends and so forth. On rare occasion, again, if there's an unexpected claim or so forth, that has on occasion driven us into an RFT and also affects premiums. Our property and building insurance actually continues on a downward trend, which is good. And we recently renegotiated our 111F insurance. 111F are for fire and police injured in the line of duty. We switched carriers on that. I can get you the specifics and have saved considerable on that. Plus, our claim history has now finally cleared up. We did have one particular claim that was driving it for some time. So in conclusion, I'm available at any time about any aspects of the budget, any information you need, myself, Ms. Cabri, any meeting you need myself or anybody to come to would be more than happy to. All right.
Thanks very much, Robert.
Yeah, thank you,
Appreciate
gentlemen.
it.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a safe drive home.
Yes, thank you.
All right, moving on in the budget, we are on the parking management forum. So this was back in August 2nd, and I did want to I did attend it, so I wanted to just kind of share some of the things that they're looking at doing. There was a nice little one-pager, so I'll just kind of read off that real quick. So some of the things that they're looking for the strategy, because really what they're looking to do is to free up or to utilize the parking a little more efficiently. There's a lot of discussion around how many spaces are available downtown, what their uses are, when their uses are. For example, like the Page Moore building was mentioned, where it's primarily used in the evening, late afternoon and evening, but not really during the day, but commuters can't park there. The bank parking lot was the other one, which is actually one of the largest parking lots in the area, because that, it's a come and go business, plus the way that banking has changed, people don't always go to the bank anymore, so therefore those spots might be available. So they're looking to review parking signage in zones to define 2-hour parking to kind of free up some spaces for people to just go downtown. The residential parking only signs to kind of give a better jurisdiction over where the residents have priority to park. Shared parking agreements for private lots, these would be something along the lines of with the bank or with the Page Moore building, where between such and such a time you can park here, but like 6 o'clock you have to be out. That way it would free up for commuters. Mark out the parking spaces on Main Street, and then installing payment kiosk at Park Street. So it may be looking at one of those little, the little kiosk where
We
you
just did those.
yeah.
They work out great.
Oh yeah, I like those in Boston. They make it so much easier. They're looking at possibly evaluating and implementing angle parking on Central Avenue here, from Columbia to the post office entrance. That's that first section. And then they'll, so part of the conversation we had around this was, all right, you're going to set up all this new restrictions and jurisdictions, then we need to enforce it somehow. So there could be potential cost, but there could also be revenue coming in. So when it comes to like a parking kiosk, they'd be looking at potential residential rates, commuter rates, and then the park sharing was the most unique thing, because really, Mark Wetzel had a map of where all the lots were and all
I
the
wish I
spots
would have
were.
went. I was on vacation because I want to go because I'm in charge of our parking. That's my
You could, Mark would probably share the presentation with you.
because we just put 4 kiosks in, and
Yeah.
the residents have a sticker. They have to pay 1 fee compared to a non-resident that's going to pay the kiosk every day. Stickering program works out fine. We just incorporated it with our dump stickers, so it's an all-in-one sticker. So
Yeah.
it's coming along well.
Nice. One other thing that Mark mentioned, because of the commuter rail station, is possibly, he lives in Reading, so they have their commuter rail station. They actually have a residential commuter rail parking section. So he's looking at, he kind of floated that as a potential idea.
We have a resident section and a non-resident section. Our non-resident section is numbered. The kiosk controls those,
Yeah.
and it's
Okay.
well over 100. I think the metered spots are 127 metered spots and over 150 resident spots. And then we have 4 satellite spots that now we have a satellite shuttle that will bring them from one parking lot to the rail.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
there's money to be made in parking, I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
oh, absolutely. And I think this is a step in the right direction. I think, Mark did a good presentation, good discussion. It was very preliminary when this occurred, but, I think that one of the challenges that we have is the commuter rail station, because I think a lot of people, once all the parking spots get jammed, I think everyone goes into Acton or Littleton,
Littleton.
you know, where the parking lots are bigger.
Yeah.
So that's all I had. I just wanted to quickly share that with
Build
you
it and
guys.
they will come.
Yes. Next item is Association of Town Finance Committee, which is part of MMA. We have an invoice for $180, which is our registration fee for the year. I need a motion and approval to pay it.
I make such a motion that we pay the bill.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
No.
There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0 unanimous. Is that a pen I can pick up? Thank you. Thank you. All right. So that's all we have for new business. We don't have any old business. Going through the mail. Very briefly, we had our invoice that we received. Association of Town Finance Committee's annual seminar is going to be Saturday, October 21st at Tri-County Regional High School down in Franklin. It's not a bad drive. It's a little under an hour. Educational sessions will be offered on some new topics as well as some old. We've looked at your meetings. We all received a new revised handbook, Finance Committee handbook, that will be completed for the first time. It will be available to download online. Dues paying communities receive information on how to access the new handbook at the meeting. And let's see, they have, starts at 8:15. There's food involved in the food down there is fantastic, I will say. I've been there twice. They have the students do the cooking and they do a great job. We have a general meeting with someone from the Sharon Finance Committee, and then their workshops are Budgeting 101 for new members, Social, Open, and Public, how to blog, tweet, and share within the requirements of the public record and open meeting laws. That's interesting. Managing your town's credit and bond rating, health insurance trends, other post-employment benefits, and GASB 45, something near and dear to my heart. Then there's a break for lunch, and then capital planning, buying the big stuff. And Finance Committee potpourri. 3 experienced Finance Committee members and an attorney will answer questions from the audience and share ideas of some of the trickier situations Finance Committee members face. And then how to make sharing and regionalizing services work for you. So if you guys are available and you want to go, let me know. The committee will cover the cost
I
of
would be
registration.
happy to go.
Okay, I have to check my calendar. Let's see. So we have time, so I'll agenda this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agenda this at our, probably our next
Yeah.
meeting. All right, after that we have 2 issues of the Beacon, if anyone wants to take those. We have our budget, which we haven't spent anything, so we still have $500. And then we have approved or signed off minutes from the clerk. And that's the map. No minutes tonight to review. No upcoming business as of yet. Committee updates, capital planning. I'm assuming you don't have anything.
No.
No.
Not yet.
Executive By Board has
Meeting
not
yet.
met in a while. So we move on to Finance Committee Roundtable. So I'll open up to members if you guys have anything you want to discuss or talk about.
I'm going to continue forwarding to the members of the committee the DLS updates that I received via
Okay.
email. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys look at them or not, but I receive them regularly and I forward them to the committee. Some of them are very, very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually read a few. I didn't get to read the one that the last one you sent, but I think it's good information out there, and to have it delivered, I think, is easier than going to find it. So thank you.
Being informed is always better than not.
All right. Chris, anything? No? Okay. All I'll say is, we're back in September, get back in the swing of things. So the subcommittees will start meeting again. So capital planning will start up. Executive By Board will probably meet once or twice to start planning for the budget process. We'll have discussions later on how we want to handle the budget process. I will assume we'd want to keep it more towards the way we've done in the past, where we meet just with the larger department
I was
heads
just going to ask
to
that.
discuss.
Yeah.
The reason why I want to kind of take the next couple months and invite the smaller ones in is to give them that voice if they want, and also
Absolutely.
to give you guys some insight into what they do.
Good.
The conversations over the years with like Council on Aging, Parks Department, it's really amazing to see what they do with their budgets. And they do some really great work. So that's all for Roundtable. Up next, we have our special town meeting on the 25th. And then our next regularly scheduled meeting is that Wednesday, the 27th. So I will put together an agenda for that. And
Okay.
if you guys have anything, as always, if you have anything on the agenda you want to discuss, let me know. I can already tell you one of the things we'll put on is kind of just a postmortem of the town meeting. I like to always have a conversation because we want to make sure that, like, if we make a recommendation on something, whether it's budget or just financial related, and then town meeting goes the exact opposite way, let's try and figure out where we went wrong. Okay, and, make sure we have the pulse of the town.
I do have one question.
Certainly.
Are you planning to put together a presentation for the town meeting?
And will it be heard?
It will be heard because I did actually talk to the moderator yesterday on the phone, and I will work at putting
Okay.
something together. I need to get my numbers to tie out to Mr. Hogan's, because I want to make sure we're on the same. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. But I know the town administrator said that there will be and I always hate having a presentation that reiterates what's already been said. So I would actually, is it the slides you're going to use tomorrow night that you'll use at town meeting, Mr. Pomfrey? If you don't mind,
quick.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
Bring
fine.
Back in.
Yeah, so the plan is, less is always more. What I mean by
Yeah.
that, so the plan at the town meeting on the 25th is we have basically 4 slides that just, one shows the chronology in Scott, and we're going to use them tomorrow as a rough draft. The chronology of the process. Another one will show what the agreement means. In other words, what we talked about tonight, the 82 jobs, what they're going to do. And then the third one, in the fourth one, of the cost impacts. So as I envision it, we can, as we get closer to that, I mean, that would be sort of the presentation. The intent is just an overview of the STAA.
Yeah.
All of my people know we do not take a position either way, just present it. I think it would behoove, as we did at the BOS, to afford American Superconductor an opportunity to explain who they are to folks and what they do. I think short and sweet. And then, as you gentlemen know, especially Mr. Chairman, people will be looking to the FinCom for your thoughts. So
Yeah.
obviously, and what I normally do, if I may, on the warrant, because I would set short notice. Normally, at the end of the article, it's the Board of Selectmen, it's FinCom, and it will say what your formal position is. As you'll see on this one, it says we'll report at town meeting because we just didn't have the time. But so,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
That's
Yeah,
all.
so from an informational perspective, I think you're going to have everything on the STA itself. So
Yeah.
I think if we were to do a presentation, would just be bullet points on our reasons for,
Right,
like,
sure.
what we're looking for the agreement.
Sure.
Or we can just simply speak to it after it goes to the floor. So I can throw something together very quickly and distribute it.
The only thing I'd want to make sure that is articulated is the desire to have some contribution to the
Yes.
Oh,
community
yes, absolutely.
occur.
Because
Other
it
than
is
that-
contingent on our
Yeah,
approval.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
That would be number one on my hit parade, I would think.
I agree.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's all we have for this evening. So I'll get something out to you guys. Probably get it to you by the end of the week, since
That's fine.
I'm actually not available next week. So
No problem.
that'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
What time we got? 8:28.
24 is close enough for everyone work.
Oh, you can.
So I
All
think
those in
for
favor
the,
say aye.
Aye.
Aye.